Okay, start recording. Camera. That's the bit it's all there. Everything's there apart from the camera. Right, okay. So I've just eaten a steak. Beautiful steak, and I wanted to talk. What a better time to talk about veganism. These videos are really difficult to make. There's lots of things that are hard about making videos, but to try and make a video where your sound is out of sync with your face, I mean, you just try doing that. It's not easy. I just eaten. I just polished off now. Actually, I mean, the biggest thing is different between this video and the last is I'm now on an American pale ale rather than a lager. God, that's nice. So I finished a great big steak. I want to talk about veganism. So let me just segue. Let me just mesh this all together. Really, I live in a rural town in Lincolnshire. You can look it up. Louth. It's a market town, not particularly wealthy town. It's not a particularly wealthy part of the country. We have the largest spire in the country. Our church has the largest spire in the country that isn't like a cathedral, right? The largest parish spire in the country. It's fucking huge. It's a church in a town of 15,000 people, and it's like a cathedral. And Louth is in a valley, right? It's all in a valley with the River Ludd running at the bottom, and this church is built right at the bottom. So you've got to get close to that. I mean, you build Lincoln Cathedral at one point was the tallest building in the world when it had a spire before it burnt down in like 1500 or whenever it was. And they built that at the top of a hill with good reason. It's an amazing building. You build it at the top of the hill. Louth decided to build the largest non-cathedral spire in the country in the bottom of a valley. I don't know why, but it's a pretty impressive building. But another thing that's impressive about Louth, it is properly rural. If you go into a town normally, there's a few garages with car showrooms on the way in. There are 3 on the way into Louth, and they all have tractors and combine harvesters. That's the kind of place that it is. It has it's not, the supermarkets exist, but they haven't taken over. There's still a proper town centre with butchers and bakers and fruit and veg shops. There are 3 specialist butchers and a poultry butchers that just sells poultry in the middle of the town. There is a cheese shop, a specialist cheese shop that just sells cheese. Obviously, with it being a cheese shop, the name kind of gives it away a little bit, doesn't it? That's the nature of the place. And I went to one of the butchers today, having picked a parcel up, and I thought I'd buy a bit of steak. And for my dinner, and it's they don't have like steaks packed up. There's just it's just a chunk of cow, right? There's just different chunks of cow, different chunks of pig, different, and so there's the rump steak, and it's just a big hunk of meat, and it's like, well, I'll have about an inch off that. And the guy puts it there and cuts you I mean, honestly, it's like this size. It is properly like this size. It's about, well, I've had a third of it, I would say. It's about a 12 ounce, I should say you could get 3 12-ounce steaks. It's over a kilo, over a couple of pounds of steak there. And I'm eating that, and I'm thinking about conversations that I've had recently and some of the things with regard to veganism. And I really can't get my head around it. And one of the things that's prompted this is that Cosmic Skeptic, who's one of the new kids on the block in sort of YouTube atheism and has been wildly successful. I think that I've said before, the algorithm gave him a bit of a reach around, I think, to begin with. But since then, he's done fantastic, and he's promoted himself and touted himself around, and he's a clever lad. But he's very much on the bandwagon of veganism and promoting that, and it's kind of boring to a point where he does the thing that vegans tend to do, I'm afraid, which is to sort of make it into a big moral issue for everybody else. It's like a big moral downer for everybody else. And I'm really not sure how well that sells veganism. I know a few people who are vegetarians. And bear in mind, I have nothing against vegans. If that's what you want to do, crack on. Nothing against vegetarians. If that's what you want to do, crack on. But I know a number of people who are vegetarians who feel the same way towards what I want to say with vegans. I want to say they feel the same way towards vegans as I do, but I want to substantiate that. There is veganism as it is, which is not eating meat and fish and dairy products and anything that's passed within 100 fucking meters of anything that moved, right? It could possibly exploit an animal in any sense. As a concept, and then there's actual vegans. It's a little bit like religion in that sense. I'm not trying to poison veganism with that claim, but it's a little bit like that in that you need to separate veganism, I think, from vegans. I propose. I don't know if you agree with me with that. It just seems that like there's a lot of vegans who are really rather obnoxious with it. It's probably the obnoxiousness, the squeaky wheel getting the grease. The vegans that are not obnoxious, that just get on with it, and I'm a vegan and I'm going to do my thing. And yeah, I'd probably, those vegans probably think it'd be better if everybody was a vegan, but they're not going to go on and on and on and on about it. They're not the ones you hear from, I suppose. They're the ones that just do their veganism thing and fine. And I take my hat off to them, right? Because it's good for the environment. I won't deny that. And as I said to somebody the other day, I'm going to make a conscious effort actually to. I'm not going to become a vegan. No, I enjoy meat too much. I'm not going to become a vegetarian. I enjoy meat too much. But tonight is an exception. But I'm going to try and cut down the portions of meat that I have. I think that some of the dishes that I enjoy, I could enjoy with half the amount of meat that I have. And I do accept that eating meat has a bigger toll on the environment than eating directly plant-based materials, rather than having been pre-processed by another animal, which is effectively what eating meat is. So I kind of get that. I do kind of get that. But it just seems so negative, veganism, to me. It just almost seems kind of cult-like. It almost seems like there's this kind of... I tell you what it is, and this is what prompted me to make the video, is that to me, if you find something that you take on board and that you enjoy it for its own sake, and it doesn't come with a lot of pain, you just enjoy it for your own sake, for its own sake, it seems to me, tell me if you think I'm wrong with this, but it just seems to me that generally when that is the case, you can just get on with it and enjoy it and do it, and it becomes part of your life. But when you have something which involves a kind of sacrifice that makes it a kind of a hardship, right? And that could be a religion that requires that kind of a sacrifice, or it could be a very strict exercise regimen where you're going down the gym 5 or 6 times a week, and to be quite honest, you're kind of hyped up on it, but at the same time it's a little bit of a burden, and you're trying to convince yourself that you're quite as hyped up on it as you are, that these are the things where you feel the need to kind of impose it on everybody else. Well, you all should be doing this thing that I'm doing, right? You all should be making these sacrifices. You all should be going to church and doing this thing. You should all be going down the gym and working out and flogging yourself to death 6 times a week. You should all be not eating any kind of animal products. And it just smacks to me that it's not indicative of something that people actually enjoy doing, to see that kind of a thing. Interested to know what you think. Okay, I'll leave it at that.